So, my name is Neil Jones. I am the creator and developer of Aerial Nice, We Never Yield, and the recently released follow-up Aerial Nice, Never Yield, that released across multiple gaming platforms, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, all across the world. And I am Detroit's hardest working game dev. So today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I make games, just game development in general, if you're interested in games, and where I see this whole game development thing going in the future, especially right here in Detroit. So my dream has always been to make video games. It's a pretty cool dream, you know? At first, I wanted to be a Power Ranger, but that didn't really work out. I really focused on making video games. My grandmother ran a restaurant here in Detroit in one of those bowling alleys, and I used to sneak into the cash register, take a bunch of quarters, steal a bunch of quarters, and go down to the arcade and just spend my days in the arcade. And that's where I fell in love with video games. I always just loved the creativity behind them and just how they were made. Not just playing them, but listening to developers' stories about how they went about making these entire worlds. And my whole life, that's all I've ever wanted to do. So coming into the game industry, I was very ignorant. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know that it didn't cater to different people from different places and different ideas. So after 10 years of doing what I was supposed to do, doing what they tell you you're supposed to do, you're supposed to go to school, you're supposed to build a portfolio, you're supposed to create this interesting persona, and then you'll get a job. Well, I spent 10 years doing that, and I didn't get a job. And I am way too handsome not to have a job. So, well, why are y'all laughing? I did something that a lot of people do and that I never did before. I gave up because after 10 years of rejection, it's time to move on. But there was this quote from my high school coach that it's something that he will always say that was stuck in my head. He would say, things don't change. They remain the same unless you change them. So before I gave up, I made a deal with myself. I said I was going to spend 1 year making a video game. Not any video game. I was going to make a game for me, something with characters that looked like me, characters that were from where I was from, with music that I like to listen to. And if people rock with it, then I would keep making games. But if not, I would take the hint, and I would take my handsome self and go to some other industry. And by my surprise, people rocked with it. People liked what I was making. And I learned a lot along the way. I learned that game developer is more of a category than a title. There's a lot of things that are included when you say game developer. When you make your own game solo, you have to have a lot of different skills. You have to know game design, level design, 2D art, 3D art, architecture, UI, UX, video editing, and sound editing, and many more. When you have a small team, that small team has to all wear multiple hats. And when you're on a large team, you get to focus in on something really specific and become the master of that thing. But why is all of this important? Why am I up here talking about video games? Why should any of you care? Well, I had the awesome opportunity throughout making my games to travel a lot. And I often have kids and parents come up to me and say, I have never met a Black person who makes video games, which is a wild statement. And it's a lot for me. I get, my hands start sweating really easily. And when they say this to me, I wouldn't know what to say. I would say there are a lot of us. I'm not the first one to do something like this, and I won't be the last. But we are not very much put in front of the camera. We are hidden behind the scenes. Even when it comes to playing video games, it's hard for people to think of the last main character that was Black from a Black place that they took the role of. And games are in this interesting place where games are in this interesting place where they are the only form of media where you can truly take the role of a character and walk in their shoes. So, where are we now? I feel like there's a lot of people who are just like me out there who don't get the spotlight, who doesn't get put in front of the camera, and don't get to do cool things like this and be on the TEDx stage to talk about video games. Because there's a lot of risk when it comes to making a video game. You have to put yourself out there. There's a lot of money that's involved. There's a lot of risk in the sense of you don't know what people will like. But it has a major reward because, like I said, you get to take the role of a character and you get to express your culture in a different way that other forms of media just can't recreate. And by doing so, you create equity within your community. I had the awesome opportunity of when I started making my second game, I got to hire a lot of people from Detroit to work on that game. My game has an all-black voice cast, all black characters, and they're all from Detroit. And that is something that doesn't really exist. So, where do we go from here? I don't know the future. Anybody who tells you they know where all of this is ending is lying or misguided. But I can make a really educated guess of where gaming is headed. It looks a lot more like me, and not just my culture, but just the individual going against the normal game industry and doing it themselves. I showed you that list of different titles and different categories under game development to let you know that if you come from a different industry, you have a place in game development. And the more people do this, the more they do it themselves, the more people will realize that, like I said before, things don't change. They remain the same unless we change them. Thank you.